Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Designers Collaborative webinar for Free Up Your Time by Having Your Systems Locked Down with Sandra Funk. We are so happy to have you all here. And amazing to have Sandra Funk, who is a trusted advisor who has been in this business for over a decade. She has a proven system that she shares with interior designers, and it is called the Interior Design Standard. And it's an amazing program that actually gives you the things instead of saying, this is how you should do some things. So I absolutely love that because it takes so long to create all of that. And when you have just the amazing gift of having that done for you, it's incredible. And Sandra didn't just come up with this overnight. It took many experts over many, many years to develop and fine-tune this system that she then shares with all of you. So I'm really, really excited to have you, just go through all of these slides and learn about how, upfront making some efforts in your systems is going to make a huge difference for you every single day of your life in your business. And that will filter into your entire life because your business is just one aspect. You have a whole life that's outside of your business. So systems in place allow for freedom. So I'm absolutely in love with this topic, and I'm going to turn it over to Sandra. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Heather. It's such an honor always to be with you all. And I appreciate your light. I can hear your passion talking about running a design firm. I know you've been doing it for the long haul, and that your heart, we share that our big mission is to help interior designers run better businesses. And so it's just such an obvious collaboration for us to be here together. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right, I'm gonna until the end.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm gonna dive on in. And again, I'm Sandra Funk, and this is Free Up Your Time by Having Your Systems Locked Down. And it's so much more than time, right? It's making incredible profits. It's having a life outside of your business. It's life-giving, right? When you have your systems locked down and you know what you need to do, it really, really changes your life. Like I talk about sleeping through the night soundly after I really understood my business and got it systematized and organized, and it's completely changed everything. So we'll dive in. I have to, of course, give one more shout out to Heather and TDC. Thank you so much. It is my honor to be here. Always, always, always. Thank you for having me. And I'm going to give you a little bit about me in case you don't have that background. I started out graduating from college, knowing I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but not knowing what that would look like. So I decided to get a degree in finance. I figured, at least I'll know how to handle the money, right? So I did that. I graduated. I still really didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, right? So I went and worked as a business process consultant, and I worked for Fortune 500 companies, helping them become more efficient and profitable. So that's just kind of how my brain works, how I think. I ended up studying at Parsons in New York City. One of the jobs I was on was doing web usability and web development way back in the beginning in the early 2000s, to date myself. And Parsons in New York City was really one of the schools that people were sending web usability designers to learn design, because there weren't web schools yet specifically. That's how long ago that was. And I just fell down the rabbit hole, in love with interior design, sitting on a paint covered stool in the basement of Parsons, and I never looked back. I went into design, worked for other people, started my own firm, House of Funk, in 2005. And I'm honored to have built a beautiful firm, created a beautiful team, and to be featured in national publications like AD Pro and Elle Decor over the years. And today you'll find me sharing all the lessons I've learned and how to transform your business at national events and workshops just like this. Again, my main mission now is to be with interior designers and to give them an hour of my time like today and give them as many takeaways as possible, and also to introduce them to my program, the Interior Design Standard. Again, it's a business template for interior designers. It's the entire business backbone that you would need to run a profitable, efficient, and joy-filled business. And I just want to get it into as many designers' hands as possible, because every time I meet a designer that has finished my program, they are hugging me, we're taking pictures together. Like, there is so much joy in getting to know these designers and really watching their businesses transform that it's like addictive. Like, I can't wait to talk to the next. It's like Heather talking about like your buying power, right? Like, she has to, it's her mission. She has to spread that word. All right, and so here I am with about 60 of our standard members all together in High Point. Incredible to be together and in person and gathering, just so much fun. So I would love to hear from you now. If we could open up that chat, let's get our fingers nice and nimble. I would love participation today. Feel free to put questions in the chat as we go. I'm going to have them all collected and we're going to dive in at the end. Okay, so there's definitely time for questions. Keep putting them in throughout the conversation and we'll address them at the end. But right now, I'd like to know, how would your business transform if you had unending dream clients just begging to work for you? Right? Work with you. Like, if you just, no matter what you did, there was always another wonderful client waiting to work with you, right? I want you to really think about this from the standpoint of that it's possible. I believe in abundance. I believe there are plenty of projects out there, right? Everyone has a home. There's a lot, like there's abundance when it comes to our industry. It's really about knowing who that client is and going out there and finding them, and that is possible. And so when you have that unending list of clients waiting to work with you, you really can start to think about what kind of projects do you want to work with? Who do you want to be? What kind of portfolio are you going to build? Like, it really transforms quite a bit. So I'd love to hear what you guys are all saying in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. My goal today is to show you why it's so important to make the shift from overworked and underappreciated to focusing on joy, hand selecting those clients, and skyrocketing your profits, all while still having a life. Today, I'm going to share my key system strategies for growth. We're really going to focus on systems today, and I'm going to show you those strategies in action. And I'm going to share how you can catapult forward with those strategies. And then we're going to workshop your business. So drop your questions into the chat as we go. And as a bonus, I wanted to just give you this little kind of piece of information. This is a way for you to immediately increase your potential client close rate. And we all know that building a successful firm starts with signing the right clients, right? That unending list of dream clients, you have to sign the good ones and let the other ones go by the wayside. So how you're going to increase your closing rate right out of the gate, get out that pen and paper because this stuff deserves to be written down, right? Create a potential client presentation. So in this presentation, here I call mine the House of Funk experience, you're going to communicate the design agreement details, okay? Over the years, I remember trying to figure out how to get the potential clients to actually read the design agreement, right? The contract, and they will not read it on their own unless they're a lawyer. And then you have to decide if that's your ideal client or not, right? So it's so important to walk them through those important points in that agreement, okay? And you're going to outline their future experience as your client. So when you are elegant and clear and organized, but you also run them through this experience of working with them, they're walking through and they're understanding what it's like to work with you in your firm. So they're visualizing their future as your client. So it makes it a lot easier for them to say yes at the end to actually becoming your client, because the whole way through this presentation, they've been envisioning themselves as your client. So this positioning is really, really important. It's like Psych 101 stuff, and it's super incredible because it works. All right, so step one, set up. Pour your drink of choice, put on some focus tunes, right? grab that paper and pen and your design agreement. We're really going to make sure we break that document down into an easy to digest and beautiful way. And then step 2 is to brainstorm. You're going to get into that agreement. You're going to map out the phases of your process, add the most important information from your agreement, right? What are the things they need to know before they sign this thing? And in that, you're going to set expectations and clarify boundaries, right? You're going to let them know payment terms, when things are communicated, how things are communicated, everything to create this, take this potential client from just a regular old person to a dream client. How do they become dream clients? They have to have the right scope, the right scale, the right budget for your niche, of course, but they also have to know what you expect of them. They have to know where the boundaries lie. How many rounds of revisions? How's this going to work? When do I pay for this? When do I hear from you again, right? They have to understand boundaries and expectations in order to be your ideal client. So you have to tell them. You have to tell them straight out. And you cannot hope that they read it in the agreement and somehow remember that from months and months ago, right? You not only have to say it in person in this presentation, you have to follow it up in writing, and then you have to remind them as well, right? We don't expect to tell our children something one time and never say it again. It's the same thing with our clients. They're busy, they're crazy, they're running all over the place. You have to remind them what being a good, amazing dream client looks like, right? This is your business. I am a huge fan of the phrase stand in your space, right? Your business. So you need to set the boundaries. You need to set the expectations. You set the efficient process by which we work, right? This is your business. And thus you set those parameters and gently and kindly communicate them to your clients. The beautiful thing about this presentation is it happens before they sign on to be your client. So if for some reason your payment terms, your ideas, your boundaries and expectations don't align with their values, you don't work together. It's that simple, right? But if they do sign up to work for you, they understand exactly what this looks like. This is so key. You guys getting that? Does that make sense to you? And then step 3 is so simple because you're an incredibly brilliant designer and you do this in your sleep, is make it pretty. So again, create a beautiful slideshow that merges your killer portfolio with what it's like to work with your firm, right? Walk them through that process. This is a great way to make sure that they're seeing your latest and greatest portfolio, maybe something that's not even out on the internet yet because you're pitching it for press, but you can use it here, right? Great place for that. Like, can't quite show the general public yet, but you sure can use it with your potential clients. Yes, thumbs up, you guys. Awesome. All right, why does this work? So showing your process instills trust. When you outline what it's going to be like to work with you, they trust you. And once they're your client, they are a dream because you've set expectations and created boundaries, right? You've trained them, you've told them, they've agreed to it. They said yes to the boundaries and the expectations, right? And they are visualizing their new reality. Like I said, when you walk them through this process, they are really starting to understand what it's going to be like to work with you, and thus they are a much easier yes at the end. Yay. Okay, I'm not kidding you guys. Use this little gift. It will increase the ability for you to close your dream clients. I promise you that. And let me know how it goes. Reach out. So tell me in the chat, which one sounds like you? Are you a 1? You're ready to shift from taking on all the projects to only working with your ideal clients. Or are you a number 2 and you're looking to switch from hustle to working smarter and making more money? And or are you a 3? You're ready to stop wondering if you're doing it right, right? You're always like, is this right? Am I doing this right? Is this right? To having unwavering certainty. Wouldn't that be great? Well, I can tell you I'm a 1, a 2, and a 3. I have been there. I was absolutely all 3 earlier in my career. I'm going to walk you through some of that as well. All right, let's dig in on our systems. So you can be a profitable interior designer without feeling exhausted, burning the midnight oil, or missing the kids' games. And I was in all of those lands for quite a while in my business. I've been there. I thought that every project was too different to systematize, right? I was always totally overwhelmed. I didn't have the capacity to do all the things, and I couldn't even find time to hire help, right? I was at that point. I had enough stuff coming through the door. There was money to hire help. I just couldn't even find the time to put out a job posting, right? I had put myself into total and complete overwhelm. You guys ever been there? And what I decided was that I needed to settle down, stop, put a pause, put a pin in it, and I needed to develop sexy systems, right? And let me tell you, systems may not typically be sexy, but once you have them this locked down, let me tell you, you will love them. It's like a clean pantry, right? Like you just want to go in there and stand in there. That's how happy you get when you actually know what to do next. And then after that, and then next, and then delegate. It's beautiful. Okay. And I can tell you, once you have these systems in place and locked down so that you are efficient and joyful and much more profitable, right? The way that you run your design project now will not be the same as how you run it in the future. It totally transforms. It's incredible. So here's how you're going to do sexy systems, right? How you're going to put them in place in your firm. You're going to document all of your processes, all of them, like everything, right? The joke around my office is if you are going to do it 3 times, you create a system, right? You create a template, you create an outline, a map so that you don't have to rethink those 3 things again the next time, right? I only write emails 1 time, right? There's an email that says, hey, it was wonderful to meet you today, da, 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 da. That email is written, it's been written, it's beautiful, right? I just pluck it off the shelf and use it. It's in my process, it's in the system. I don't have to think, I should send them a nice email to say it was so nice to meet them today. It's all in there, right? Some examples of the things that you are gonna document: your full design process, the whole damn thing. Onboarding a new client, right? What does that look like? Hiring a new employee, interacting with vendors and trades, right? All those little bits can be systematized and organized and documented. So for instance, if you're going to do the full service design process, right? I would then, under that, I would start to define the phases for that process. So for instance, my phases are onboarding, conceptual design, detailed design, purchasing, and execution, right? And then under each of those phases are the step-by-step tasks that it takes to execute a design project from top to bottom, from, creating a new folder, a template, a binder, to putting together the emails. Every single step is in there, right? All the way through from meeting a potential client on the phone, that first phone call, all templated, to how we wrap up a photo shoot, how we leave them with the flowers, and we say thank you, and we leave them with the gift of the beautiful book with the photography at the end. All of it. It is all in there. And as you can see, this is a screenshot of some of our tasks. We use a task management software to house all of those steps and to keep them organized. And then in here, you'll also see some of our more detail in those tasks. So each little task in that little screenshot blows up and has details of how to do this next step, right? The beautiful thing is, once you're this organized and everything is this clear, you start to become a delegation machine, all right? Not only does it help you, if you're a one-person show, know what to do next and stay organized and stay efficient and profitable, but oh my goodness, when you're ready to take on that team, or you have a team, it just explodes with your efficiency when you're able to give them clarity on what they need to do with a click of a button or an assigning of a task, instead of a big meeting and I got to go over it and da, da, da. I mean, we all train our employees, but once they know the general basics of it, when you're this clear, they are off and running. Okay. In this, you're going to include your team members and your timelines. So you're going to note who should be doing which task, right? Lead designer, administrative assistant, intern. We flag all of our tasks so we know exactly who that should be assigned to when we restart a new project. You're also going to include timelines of when each task should be complete, right? So we should go and document the brand new job we just signed within the first 2 weeks, right? All that's going to be in there so that you have a lot of guidance on where you're going. There's zero confusion on who does what and when. And once you have your processes documented and clarified, you become that delegating machine, which we love. Again, we're going to template everything. So down to communication, like I talked about, if you're going to write that email more than 3 times, it gets documented, templated, and everything then is in your brand voice, right? So everything is in your brand voice. It's at the highest A+ level of customer service. There's not a chance that one of your team members is going to whip off an email with bad grammar, getting the spelling of the client's name wrong. It's not possible when you have everything this organized. Yay. Okay, and this is me lovingly looking at my Asana. We use Asana for our task management, and I may have a small love affair with a task management system, but this is the beautiful thing. Once you get all the pieces in, you can then refine them, revise them, rearrange them, right? Put them in a better order and remove, of course, any duplication of efforts. It's so important not to just dump it all in there, but to keep refining it and sharpening that pencil. And that's one of the things that's happened in the standard, right? I was using it that way for a decade, and then I started to share it with other designers, and now over 700 designers are using the same standard program, refined, right? Like at this point, there aren't even spelling errors possible, right? There's been so many eyeballs in there and so much refinement. So it's a beautiful thing when you have a system that is this clear. Clear. Then you're going to copy this beautifully clarified system for every project. So once you get a template like this, every time you sign a new client, you're going to duplicate that whole design process and start working that from start to finish. The designers I work with are doubling their profits with these templated processes, you guys. Doubling profits. Literally, okay? A refined system makes you more efficient, and becoming more efficient equals more profit. And they are doubling their income because they are able to delegate. They're able to sleep at night. They're able to move on to that next project. They're moving projects through the pipeline faster because they know exactly what happens next. It has been mind-blowing watching the standard kind of work through our industry. So I'm going to give you an example. So Colleen went from confusion to clarity. So Colleen knew that leveling up her client experience was the key to elevating her firm, but she found herself scattered. She felt like she was dropping balls along the way, not able to fully explain her design process to new clients, right? She didn't have that super detailed way of walking our clients through what this was going to look like. She was giving wishy-washy timelines. I mean, I get it lately, that's pretty clear, but she was able to get much more clear on when she was going to be meeting with her clients again, when they would be hearing from her again. All of that is so crazy important in the experience. And we know that the experience equals the referrals, right? So she was constantly shifting to meet her clients' expectations. So instead of setting clear expectations, creating with intention an incredible client experience, she was fighting fires. Yeah, have you guys ever been there with the fighting fires? Colleen and her clients were not fully satisfied with their overall experience. I get it. I ran my business like that too in the very beginning. Rough, very rough. And there is a better way, right? So Colleen worked with me on implementing our systems from the standard, sexy systems. And she incorporated the excellent communication, right? All templated and beautiful, clarity on timelines, and pricing by implementing my one proven process. So the standard, we don't just focus on systems inside the standard, we focus on pricing, again, the customer experience, systems, vendors and trades, HR, it's the entire business baseline, right? So she even built surprise and delight right into her template so it can't be overlooked again. Okay, the beautiful thing is about systems, you guys, is you're not just going to use it for the boring stuff, but you're going to put in there the things that the designer you wish you were, the business owner you want to be when you grow up. You build that right into your system right now. So if you're the kind of person who wishes you sent thank you cards, but you always forget and there's not time and I never have stationery, well, now it's built into your system. Now it triggers you after you meet that client in person the first time, you whip off a handwritten thank you note. It's all templated. You know exactly what to say. Your assistant has the address of that potential client added to the Asana and assigned to you the day after. You can't, there's no fail. You can't go wrong. It's going to get sent because you are setting yourself up for success. Same way, you're going to send flowers, you know, when the day of demo, or you're going to send over bagels and orange juice if it's a kitchen demo. You're going to, you know, do the end of project gift. You're going to do the check-ins, right? All of this is templated, and you can be the designer you want to be when you grow up right now because you just put it in there, and then you go and buy some stationery and make sure you have it close to your desk. Yes? Do we see how we can level up our entire experience with our clients by really thinking it through way ahead of time? We all know that when we get busy in the throes of it, life happens, but when we know what's next, it does happen. So Colleen says, now I can stand in my expertise and not feel guilty for the time it takes to develop the concepts and solutions, because I can clearly see all the steps that need to happen to create an exceptional experience for my clients. So here's what was going on with Colleen. She was giving these wishy-washy timelines because she was rushing the design. Everybody wants the design yesterday by the time they've decided to hire a designer, right? There's never been a situation where the client's been like, no rush. We decided to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into our home, but whenever you're ready, right? No, they've made this decision. One person in this couple has usually convinced the other to much convincing, right? They really are excited. They really want their beautiful home. But when Colleen got her systems organized and set up, she was able to see, I have 300 tasks or 50 tasks between this presentation and this presentation, or this meeting and this meeting, right? And so she gave herself the bandwidth to slow down, to set realistic timelines for when she would have the design prepared and presented, right? Once she got into the systems and once she really got into how many steps go into it, she actually values her services much more, right? That's a big part of how my designers are doubling their income, because they're charging more. Because when it's all laid out on paper, they're like, this is a lot of work, because they were just doing it as fast as they possibly could, right? Answering the phone, stirring the pot, getting it moving, delegating it out, running, and fighting fires. And now she's like, I can see how much work this was. I'm going to charge more, and I'm going to give myself the time that it actually takes to do truly incredible design. Can you see she starts to make more money? She's actually going to be at the kids' game. She's going to sleep through the night because she's valuing herself at a different level. And her work is going to improve. She has more, she's giving herself more time to do better quality design. So her work is getting better. Her clients are getting better. Her income is getting better. Yeah, we seeing it? It literally happens like this over and over and over again. And again, hundreds and hundreds of designers inside the standard. And if it had happened with 3 people, I'd be like, this is amazing, but it's happening with hundreds of designers. So this is why I get so damn excited, frankly. All right, Colleen needed clarity and to challenge the way she thought about running her business, right? She needed to stop thinking everything was as fast as possible. She got that and a process that allows her to create an amazing client experience while making more money. Okay, I have another example for you. You guys ready? Can we do this? I promise I'll try not to get all spazzy. Melinda went from sacrifice to standing in your space. So Melinda entered the boutique luxury market with her own firm in 2019. It still blows my mind that she just started, because I know this firecracker woman and she is literally incredible. She's on fire. She had a pipeline full of high-end clients, but her process lacked consistency. It was different for every project, right? Have you guys been there? She found herself changing her processes at the client's whim and preference, right? Running all over the place, trying to say yes to everyone. Have we ever been there? I've been there. What Melinda's clients needed, she did, right? Whatever it was. And she sacrificed everyone around her to give it to them. Okay. When I'm talking about everyone around her, I'm talking about her children and her husband, right? Her family, her mother, her father, right? When she was at work all the time, you stop being in your life. You have to be in your life, right? We will burn out if we are working all the time. It will end. This wavering left her overworked and underpaid. She needed to figure out how to turn her business into a profitable one. Melinda was ready to systematize her projects and her business using one proven process. She stopped letting her clients steamroll her and started unapologetically running her business by saying, this is my process. Do you fit within it? Right? Doesn't that feel empowering? Yes. So Melinda said, the systems and processes that I have in place now save me time, keep me profitable, make clients happy, and give me design freedom. So same thing. She had the high-end clients. She had this business take off like a shot, but she was running herself absolutely ragged. I mean, just running herself crazy. I remember in the beginning of my career, I was in that mode where I had a different design agreement, just slightly, but I had little edits and little tweaks to my design agreements. And I was on a different program with every single one of my clients. And I looked up and realized, and my team was growing and we were busy and things were rocking. And I was like, we can't possibly keep this straight. We can't possibly remember that this person's hourly rate is this, and that person's doing a percentage of this budget, and that person is doing their own purchasing. So therefore their fees are higher. And this person's like, no, pick a lane, declare it yours, And don't waver, right? This is back in the days of I will be anything to anyone. It is not fun, not good for business, not good for profits. All right, so what Linda needed was to have systems in place to keep every project consistent. She got that and the ability to stand in her space. And let me tell you, it feels so good. Okay, once you implement sexy systems, you'll be out of overwhelm. You'll be able to scale your business. And again, the designers that I'm working with are doubling their profits by following this templated process because efficiency equals profitability. Yeah. And you'll be so much more efficient. And honestly, you start to feel like a badass when you have your business this locked down. Like my daughter, once about a year ago, she said to me, Mom, you should get, I can't remember what it was, business badass or bad business vibes. It was something silly like that, like tattooed upside down inside my lip so that when I was feeling like a real badass in business, I could flip my lip down. Guys, I don't think I'm going to be getting an inside upside down tattoo inside my lip anytime soon. But I have to tell you, how much pride did I have as a mother that my daughter thought that I was a business badass? Like, isn't that what we want, right? And when you have this profitable, efficient business where you can like walk out at 5 p.m. and go live your life, right? The team's got it. The work is done. You know what's on tap for tomorrow. You've given yourself enough time and space to complete the work, right? There is just some sort of empowering pride that comes over you. It's so refreshing. Okay, you guys, I did a little podcast with Lou on a well-designed business that is on this topic. And I wanted to just let you know, if you want to go deeper into systems and all of that, this episode really complements what we're talking about today. I don't even know if I can see which episode, 585. So you can Google that guy or take a screenshot of it. All right. So the question that I have is, are you ready to step into your new reality with pricing, systems, and a client experience that just delights and surprises your dream clients, right? Get some talking, get some telling their friends, get some posting it to social media. Next thing you know, you actually have that list of unending dream clients waiting to work with you. Okay, so many potential clients, you are hand selecting the projects. There's a day in my career where I went from standing on the front porch, so nervous, so excited, hoping to get the job, ding dong, right? To standing on the front porch thinking, I hope this is a really cool client. This seems like it's going to be a good project. The scale is right, the budget's right, you know, the price point's right. I hope we get along really well. And I hope the aesthetic is really cool because maybe I'll take this one on, right? From, oh gosh, I hope I get this job to maybe I'll take this one on. That's the day that you have multiple potential clients calling that are in the right niche for you. They're in the right price point. They're in the right neighborhood, right? When that shifts, everything shifts. Now you're hand selecting projects. Will this fit in my portfolio? Is this the kind of thing I want to work on next? Are these kind humans that I want to work with? Yeah. That's what this is what joy, balance, and abundance looks like inside of a design career. So you have two options, right? Number one, you can hire the experts, figure out the formulas, document all those processes, review them, revise them until they are smoothed out and then implement. Or number two, you can transform your business by implementing my proven method, all of my templates, all served up on a silver platter, just ready for you to drop into your firm. And this is how I help build wildly profitable design firms, the Interior Design Standard. I'm going to tell you really quickly, if you have a few more minutes, why I created the standard. So my business was growing. I had the team, I had the little studio, I had this really weird lace skirt, and I was landing projects and getting press. Then I had a business rock bottom. I had 3 wonderful projects fall apart, one after another after another. I was totally blindsided. And it was time to look within. So here I am, my dear friend, Luann Nigera. I was flying home from a design conference with her, and I'm in the airport. And the 3rd client calls to tell me that they'll take it from here, which, by the way, is you're fired when you're charging hourly, in case you didn't catch that. And I'm talking with Lou and I'm all upset. And she's like, this isn't the first one, right? 'Cause she quotes all my window treatments. So she knew that she'd been quoting jobs that were falling apart. And so I'm affecting her as well as me, right? And I said, no, this is not the first, this is the third. This was the third of the 3 to fall apart. And she said, well, what's the common denominator? And I was like like a good Taylor Swift song. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I won't sing for y'all. But I was like, I'm the common denominator, right? I'm doing something wrong. This is falling apart. And this is like not when I was new. This is 3 big, beautiful projects, I don't know, a decade into my career. So something had shifted and I wasn't retaining these projects. They were just going by the wayside. So then I realized that I had clawed my way to higher end, larger projects, but my business wasn't ready. What worked for those small projects did not fly with my new, bigger, beautiful projects. And I considered throwing in the towel. I was so disheartened. I mean, I was devastated. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to cut it, but I would not let myself fail. I am a 3rd generation female entrepreneur, and damn if I was going to be the one who let it all fall to you know what. So I had to figure this out. I had to just turn around and dig in, but it wasn't a Band-Aid, and I could not sign another client that was just going to fall apart on me. That was not an option. So my quest began. I pulled over for months to workshop my entire business from start to finish. I hired the experts, right? The lawyer, the business consultant, the mindset coach, all of them. And I created a completely new method to run my interior design firm. And my business transformed to joyful, profitable, and thriving, to a portfolio full of completed high-end projects, to referrals filling my pipeline, and to hand selecting my projects. I went from working on 12 various projects of shapes and sizes and running all over the place to having 5 meaningful, larger projects with bigger budgets, right? Fewer, larger projects. So good. And my annual profit doubled. You guys, I was like, what just happened? I got myself organized. I got myself clear. I set those boundaries and expectations. Everybody was going to be on the same program from now until forever. I went from hourly to charging a flat fee. Again, boundaries, clarity, expectations, and an incredible client experience with intention from the very beginning was built in and baked into this entire new program. And then I knew I couldn't keep it all to myself. I was like, my design besties are coming up to me at design conferences being like, well, can you just like slide me that design agreement? And I was like, yes, but how are you going to figure out the flat fee? Will you be able to figure that part out? And then I was like, okay, if you get the flat fee, like, do you have the systems in place so that you can actually guarantee profitability based on that flat fee because you're efficient and you have it all where it all just goes together. And that is why I created the standard, because it just all goes together. And I wanted to give them all of it. So I went through this so you don't have to, right? I spent well over $100,000 and months fixing my business when I pulled over after losing those 3 incredible projects. I have the proven process and I've worked out all the kinks now. So not only do you save the time and money that I spent to develop it, you save the years of trial and error and all the money I left on the table by not doing it right. And those 3 amazing projects that I'll never get back, right? So again, this is how I help build wildly profitable firms. The interior design standard is $4,499. And so how my clients really think about paying for this is they upgrade the next few area rugs that they're going to sell, right? They turn up that margin. They work with Heather to make sure that they're getting the best possible margins. They buy at wholesale and sell at retail, and boom, there you have $44.99 easily if you are pricing your services right, which I know that you are, so that you can completely transform the back end of your business. And this is lifetime membership. So once you're a standard member, you are always a standard member. And we have a lot of fun. So if this resonates with you, I would love to have you reserve your spot at interiordesignstandard.com/TDC. Make sure you let us know that you heard about us here. And reserving your spot, so you know, is like having a first class confirmed ticket. It's like having your drink in hand and all that extra leg room, right? While you wait for the next session, we have exclusive inner circle training. We're going to be preparing your business with monthly trainings and conversation to make sure that you are ready for the mind-blowing transformation that is coming to your business when the standard launches next. All right, and then as a bonus, because I just can't stop giving you things. When you reserve your spot by June 16th, you will receive an invite to my interactive training and hands-on workshop, how to be completely irresistible to your dream clients. So this is a newer training that I just developed, and it has been incredible, getting so much fanfare. It's much more hands-on, small format. So again, that's why I'm doing an invite only to new standard members for this one, but we'll identify exactly who your dream client is so that you know them so well that your marketing and all of the ways that you set up your firm are speaking directly to them, to their pain, to their joy, their desires, and their dreams, and addressing their fears and their concerns, right? This is such an amazing training that I'm thrilled to be able to offer it as like a nice big deep dive this week. So this week you must be joining. Okay, so now I would love to hear what's going on in your business. And thank you so much, Heather, and the entire TDC team for having me. I hope you guys all learned a lot and have maybe a little hand cramp from writing things down. And now I'd love to hear if you have questions.
That was amazing, of course. I'm sure we're going to have lots of questions.
Yes, so I'll go ahead and jump in. We have some good ones come in. And hi, everyone. I'm Sarah. I work with Sandra. Excited to chat with you all today. Okay, Sandra, has a lawyer reviewed the contracts within the standard?
Oh, yes. So my lawyer is literally brilliant and saved my life when everything was going wrong. And she is like my right hand when it comes to this contract. So she's reviewed it about 1 million times, because every time anything has ever been tweaked, we've gone from top to bottom to make sure it's all in flow. And then also all standard members must have their own lawyer review this, okay? It has to be reviewed for their local jurisdiction and in accordance with their business. So it's been reviewed by hundreds and hundreds of lawyers at this point, and we've heard amazing feedback. So many of our designers come back to us and say that the lawyers loved it, and it's one of the strongest contracts they've ever read, and da-da-da-da-da-da. So all those years in North Jersey and working with Manhattan and finance clients, that is a very strong contract.
Awesome. Thanks, Sandra. Okay, where does transitioning to a contractor fit into your process?
Transitioning to a contractor?
Yeah, when you're working with trades, where do they fit into your process of all those phases? Like, do you hand off everything in execution? Is it woven throughout?
Yes. So my projects have the full service design process is set up for it's set up for build, renovate, all the way down to decorate, right? So you can just peel back layers as you need to. But yes, all the way throughout, you're interacting with the trades. And so that's woven into the process. You're having meetings very, very early on, getting ballpark quotes, because you want to make sure that the clients can actually afford the whole project, not just your piece. I've had that be a reason why a project has fallen apart, right? Where we're doing a renovation on a super old home and there's way more complicated stuff going on behind the walls than we thought. And the next thing I know, there's no money left for the design portion, right? Like we get the bones right and they're out of cash. So really making sure that you have ballpark figures in the beginning so that you don't even get involved in a project where they're that close to the budget, right? They need to have every budget, but certainly a renovation of an old home must have a chunk of oh shit money because you are going to find things behind the walls or you're going to find nothing. We gut renovated a kitchen once in a 1700s farmhouse and found no foundation. It had been an outhouse, it had been an out kitchen, it had been a screen porch, and at some point somebody just kept closing it in, right? Before there were such things as building codes. So you have to have deeper pockets than what you're planning on spending for this one project to have a dream client, in my opinion. They can't be spending their last nickel with you. It's never a good situation. Yeah.
Okay. Does everything in this standard apply to Canadians and also the European market?
Yes. So what we have standard members in 17 countries. So tons and tons and tons of wonderful Canadians and Europeans, and then all over the place, right? So there's groups within the standard that are from those different nationalities and those different countries, which is amazing. And then also the standard is really written as a process to walk through. So it's not talking about local laws or local building codes. It's not about design. It's not about building codes. It's not about, you know, those little details. It's about the process of design. And then you layer in your aesthetic, your building codes, your local jurisdiction on top of it. So yeah, it works anywhere.
Awesome. Okay, so Danielle says we are more interested in how to scale our business than how to start a business. If this makes sense, does joining the standard still make sense for us in that case?
Oh, yes. So I would say the standard is more aligned for you, because it's really, it can be completely overwhelming to someone who hasn't started a business yet, because there is so many steps to a design process. So that you are in it already and looking to scale, looking for probably fewer, larger projects, looking to add more, the ability to delegate, looking to get into those larger budgets. All of that is exactly what our standard members are doing. They are going from where they are with enough information and enough kind of street cred under their belts. That's when they're really catapulting the furthest. That said, I have brand new newbies who graduate from college and say, I'm going to set my business up right from the start, and they want to do the standard, and they just baby step into it because it's a very meaty. It's so much more. I haven't had anyone say to me, oh, I thought that would be in there, and it's not. Like, it's always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much is in here. Because again, I've been in business. I've been in the interior design industry for over 20 years, business for myself, 17 or 18 now. So it's all in there, right? It's like the sauce. But yes, being ready to scale is really our sweet spot. That's really where we have our most success.
Awesome. Jill says, do you need to have a specific project management software to use the standard?
No, you do not. So our templates come in via Asana. That's like the way that we get them to you. You download them into Asana, but then they can be exported into any management software that you already know and love. If you don't have a task management software yet, you are going to flip out when you see how efficient and clear and how delegating can work once you see inside of Asana. Definitely take a look around, look at different management softwares, do some demos and everything. But again, I have a little bit of a crush on Asana, and I'm a pretty big fan.
Is your training focused on providing full service design only?
So it can be utilized for more of the decorative projects, furnishing projects, all the way through to build renovate projects. It is customizable. So like when I take a template and I duplicate it, I then scale that template to the project I'm taking on, right? If I'm doing a build from scratch, it's pretty much everything. If I'm doing a build from if I'm doing a renovation only, pretty much everything. If I'm doing a decorate only, I just start to go through and remove the build reno tasks that I don't need for this next project coming up. So you customize it down. We always start with like the big guns, and then you can customize it down. But yeah, you can pretty much use it for all full service design projects. One thing I would say is that you really need to just, if you're not doing any purchasing at all and you're putting that completely on the clients, that you just need to jam up your fees. And so that the clients need to be okay with that, right? That's the only little like caveat is I'm like, there's a couple levers we can pull, right? We can become more efficient. We can charge more margins on our project, and we can charge more design fees. So when you have the three of those working, that's how we can get people over and over and over again, doubling their income. It's better when we have all three.
Absolutely. Okay. Does the standard have any marketing modules? How do we find those higher end clients?
So we don't have marketing inside the standard. We really wanted to make sure that we got the business baseline. So what we say, it's from a client call all the way through photography and all the business underneath that stabilizes. But what I will tell you is that we have standard member after standard member tell us that their referrals have doubled since doing the standard, because the clients that they have in their business now love the experience that they're having, and they come back for more and they refer their friends. So within, I think there's a two-part fold, right? There's attracting a whole bunch of incredible new potential clients, and then doing what I did, not having my business set up right, so that they came, they signed, and then they fired me, right? Because I didn't have the backbone. So that's what I really wanted to give you. And maybe that's a little bit more related to my story. I wanted to give you the backbone so then you can get that right and get that solid and start building natural, really, really wonderful word of mouth referrals from the clients that you do have. And then you can layer marketing in on top of that. And like I said, the training that I'm offering, if you sign up this week, that is one of our first kind of marketing offerings coming out. It's inevitable that we are going to be working through and bringing you more marketing from the Standard brand. But right now the Standard is really, it's HR, pricing. I'm going to forget all of them, Sarah, but it's the business backbone after the marketing.
Awesome. Okay. How does one find an attorney who specializes in interior design clients?
You do not need an attorney who specializes in interior design. You should buy the Standard, take our contract to a small business attorney and have them vet it, okay, against your local laws. But they don't need to be specifically interior design related unless they're starting with a blank sheet of paper, which is a crazy idea because you'll spend easily $10,000 working with a lawyer from a zero blank sheet of paper with just concepts like, hey, I need to build a contract for an interior design firm, right? They'll be doing hours of research. They'll be calling all their friends. Don't bring them a blank sheet of paper. Bring them the Standard contract and have any local lawyer that does small business vet that for you.
Okay, great. Do the templates include the presentation to a potential client?
Oh, yes. Can I give them the demo module?
Absolutely.
Okay, so not only does it include it, but it's also one of the modules in the Standard that we love to share with you for free. So you can take that idea of that presentation that we did in the beginning, right? And you can actually see my entire presentation and watch me walk through it. I think Sarah might be able to add it to the chat.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, this is gold. This is the entire potential client presentation, all wrapped up with a bow. And if you come into the Standard, you get the template so that you can just take it and make it your own, the soft template, so you can just edit the copy and add your own photos and all that. But what I can give you now, though, is a wonderful, wonderful example that you can model after of a potential client presentation. That one thing will change how many of your favorite clients you close. It's incredible how well that works.
Okay. You mentioned that the Standard is lifetime access. So does that mean that we will have access to any new modules and trainings that get added to the Standard in the future?
The Standard is pretty set, but what it means, so we're not adding modules to the Standard. When we do add like a marketing course, it'll be a different course, a different offering. It won't be added into the Standard because we'll be developing a whole new product. So we'll need to sell that product, right? But what lifetime access means is that things like that huge group of us all meeting together in High Point and getting together, like you'll always be invited to the Standard get-togethers, right? We do meetups at any of the big conferences and events. It means that you'll always be accessing the Standard, which means you can always log in. You can always do a refresher. You're always going to get the updates every time we launch. Any little tweaks, any little updates, we go back through and we'll let you know exactly what's updated. And then we also, it is an incredible resource for you to use with your team. So one of the ways that I bring on new team members is I make them take the Standard, right? It is literally the backbone of our business. So they go through the entire Standard and they fully understand all the different facets of the business, how it works, how pricing works, what the design agreement looks like, what a presentation looks like. Like, it is the most beautiful onboarding for a new employee. And so all of our Standard members use it when they're training, reminding, going back to, like, it is a resource that you will use over and over again over the years from a logging in standpoint. And then again, as anything changes or any edits happen, it, just keeps getting better and better and more refined as well as we go.
Yes, our alumni get an email every 6 months with any new updates that have come out. And we also really listen to our membership too. So if we find that a handful of our membership are asking for a specific resource, a specific email template, something that Sandra said once on an Instagram, and they're like, could we get that templated? We will update the Standard itself, the SANA process, and you will get all that information.
Yes, so we're adding to it from that standpoint of just making it richer and more valuable. Definitely.
Okay, does the Asana system incorporate or have the ability to upload CAD files for easy reference to building plans during the process?
That's a good question. What we'll walk you through in the standard is that we keep all of our big chunky things like CAD files and spreadsheets and all that in a Google Drive folder, super duper organized. We'll walk you through exactly how to set it up so that you can always access it. And then inside of Asana, you can put the Google Drive links. So I think that's probably the most efficient way to do it. But you may be able to do CAD files directly. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it because I really like them sitting in the Google Drive.
Yes.
Sarah, do you have more on that?
You can definitely do PDFs. I've never tried to upload attach a CAD file, but you could do PNGs, JPEGs, most standard files, just unsure about CAD specific.
Yeah, and then you could do the CAD link to the CAD. You could do a
Yes.
Google Drive link to the CAD file for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but we'll walk you through inside the standard the whole convention of, you know, having where all those files go, how they should be living, who should be accessing them, like, and that's the other thing. I talk to designers all the time. You know, a lot of people have a bunch of stuff on their computers and they got stuff stored here and they've got stuff stored there. One of the other great things with the standards that will get you completely cloud-based and will get all of your asset management under control. Like you'll know exactly where all of these files are and where those things are, and the standards and the systems of how something gets archived, where it gets put when you're complete with it, like all of that stops being a tangled web of things that one day you'll clean out, and it becomes just organized and clear, and everyone knows exactly where to put something, where it belongs, how it should be going. So that's a big upgrade too.
Alrighty. Well, I just also wanted to mention before we wrap up here that the Designers Collaborative has lots of standard members in it. And so if you're in Heather's Facebook group, I'm sure you could probably find threads on the topic too, and reach out to fellow members to have more discussions about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Our
you.
Facebook group is fantastic for those kind of questions.
Yeah, incredible. And, you know, one of our big things inside the standard, and what I've been saying all the way through, is that we really do talk about the best pricing models, the best buying power, how to become profitable without gouging your clients, without just jamming up your rates. Like, and again, TDC is such an important part of that for us. Really understanding buying power, really understanding relationships with vendors and trades, really understanding like how to buy smarter, right? And not work harder. And that's a huge bit that we teach in the standard. And again, it dovetails in so beautifully with TDC. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, everybody. It was so good to chat with you today. I hope we answered your questions. Please feel free to follow up, DM, send an email. I'm sure you can find me. I am in the TDC group as well. So just hit me up there if you have more questions or anything like that. And I would love to continue the conversation.
Thank you so much. And this has been recorded. You will all get a recording of it as soon as it is downloaded, and we've got that ready for you probably by Friday. So thank you all. You can watch every slide over and again because this was fantastic information. Thank you so much, Sandra and Sarah. I hope you guys will stay tuned for our next webinar in a couple of months.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.